Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and revisit a house that is pretty well known. It's from the house of Ralph Lauren. The fragrance we're going to go ahead and review is called Polo Red. Now, Polo Red is a fragrance that I've been looking to get my hands on for a while. It was new a year ago, so it's still relatively new within the fragrance realm itself. So figured, you know what, why not actually get to this fragrance? It's been talked about a lot, it's been requested a lot, and I'm finally getting to review this fragrance. Now, the fragrance is, as far as the bottle actually goes, you can see from the pictures, it goes from, there are three main sizes, and three main sizes are the sizes that consist of most of the other Polo fragrances. They're really odd-shaped bottles, but they work. So there is a 45 milliliter, a 75 milliliter, and a 125 milliliter. And the 45 is going to run you about $63, the 75, $68, and the 125 is going to run you $99. So as you can see, as you get up in actual size, you're getting more bang for your buck. So if you really like the fragrance, go for the bigger route. Personally, I usually err on the side of getting these smaller fragrances. Now, this I actually got a ton of samples from a couple of actual stores, but basically I'm actually reviewing this off of 3 or 4 samples just because I usually need a little bit more, just because I have a lot of people smell the scent and get their opinions for it for another section of my reviews. But either way, so with that, again, the fragrance was released in 2013. Let's get right into the notes for this fragrance. The notes consist of, at our top, we've got grapefruit, lemon, and cranberry. For our mid, we've got saffron and sage. And for our base, we have wood, amber, and coffee. So right off the bat, the first time that I actually smelled this fragrance, it reminded me of 2 fragrances. The 2 fragrances that this reminded me of were Versace Eros and Armani Code. Those are the 2 fragrances it reminded me of immediately. And for that, I kind of thought in my head, this has a very Tonka-like smelling scent for it. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and they're talking about this cranberry note. I don't really get a cranberry note. I do get a tangy type of a citrus smell right off at the top. But that quickly mixes in with the amber note that I really like off this fragrance, and that works pretty well. I don't get much coffee out of it. The coffee comes a little bit more once the fragrance has been on your skin. You can kind of get whiffs of coffee, but it's not there initially, and it's not even prominent even after it's been on your skin. That said, it does become a little bit powdery, if you will. It has many similarities to Eros at the top, but as it begins to dry down, it loses a little bit of that similarity, and it gets into a fragrance that smells, I'm not sure if you've smelled Polo Double Black, but it kind of reminds me of that in a couple of ways, and it's pretty interesting on that. But when you spray it, you start off and it's actually going to be a very heavy fragrance. It's going to be one that may offend people if you're not careful on the sprays. But thankfully, after about half an hour, it actually calms down considerably, and it becomes a very nice scent that still projects pretty well, but it doesn't project annoyingly well, is the thing. So if you can pass the first 30 minutes, I would say, go a little bit aggressive on the sprays. Make sure you're not around people for 30 minutes, and then it's going to become a very nice scent that's going to have a very nice, I guess you could say, aura or bubble around you. Now, one other thing, like I said, the tonka bean, or the tonka that this fragrance supposedly doesn't have, it has a nice little sweet vibe to it. And again, closest fragrance that it smells like to me is Versace Eros. Personally, I go about anywhere between 2 and 4 sprays. Again, depending on when I'm actually going out is how many sprays that I'm actually applying. So if I know that I'm going to be out with, before 30 minutes, then I'm going to go 2 sprays usually. If I'm going to go out after about 30 minutes, then it's going to be 4 sprays. It's a little bit, again, the fragrance is a little bit deceptive. Don't think that just because you spray it on, it's going to last that long and it's going to be projecting like a monster as it initially does. Be very careful with that, just to let you know. Occasion-wise, personally, I think this is a great night out fragrance. It's a fragrance that will carry itself pretty decently, pretty well. Not as well as some of the other powerhouses, but it's still going to carry itself pretty well. Even though it's a night out fragrance as well, another occasion that I think it's pretty good for is a date fragrance or a date night out fragrance. It's a little bit playful though, so it can't really be taken too seriously, but take it for what it is what I'm basically trying to convey across. Season wise, I actually think this is good spring and fall season wise. I don't think that, or you know what, it'll actually do pretty well in the winter as well too. The only months that I can't really see it doing too well is in the summer, and just because even though it doesn't have that power after a good amount of time, it still remains a fragrance that can get cloying, especially once heat is actually applied. So, but with all fragrances, feel free, wear it where the heck you want. This is just my recommendation for when to actually wear it. Age group wise, I say 18 plus. Go for it. Outside of that, might not really mix too well. And for performance wise, again, starts off pretty strong, mellows out, and then becomes a nice scent that kind of stays around you. It personally lasts on my skin anywhere between 8 and 12 hours. One thing of note though is that it did kind of vary on me a couple of my wearings. So by vary, it was gone after about 5 hours in one wearing. Another wearing, it was like 15 hours or something like that it was on my skin. And I could still smell it after 15 hours. It wasn't projecting crazily or even projecting a decent amount, but it was still there. Now, with all of my fragrances, I take them out to Times Square and I have people smell them. Just do random actual smell tests. Have 100 different people smell them. Of the 100 people who smelled it, there were 72 people who liked it. A lot of people like this fragrance. They said that it was sweet, sexy, and different. Different is what they actually said. There were 19 people who disliked it. They said that it was powdery, annoying, and loud. Compliment-wise, this actually got a good deal of compliments. There were people, I wore it to actual work, and I actually got compliments there. I wouldn't wear it to work then again just because I thought it was a little bit too loud. But it did get compliments, and this is a pretty nice compliment getter. So as far as rating goes, I personally give this one a rating of an 8 out of 10. Now I give it an 8 out of 10 with a couple things in mind and a couple of suggestions in mind. If you have a fragrance like Versace Eros, or if you have like a 1 million, then I would kind of suggest that, and you're on a budget, I would probably say kind of steer away from this one. You've got it has the similar type of a vibe to it, and it meets the same sort of occasions for it. That said, if you're looking for a fragrance for those occasions, your night out fragrances, you're going out partying, take a look at this one. It's a very nice fragrance, lasts a pretty good amount of time on your skin. It's a very nice addition from the house of Polo. It almost feels like they have heralded themselves into the modern era of fragrances, if you will. It's a very nice fragrance. Again, for the price too, I would say, it's a pretty good buy for it. Look around, see if you can actually get better deals on it, but it's very affordable, and it isn't priced too crazily or anything like that. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your thoughts are on Polo Red. Let me know what your experiences are on Polo Red and what you think. All right. Thank you. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.